saying goodbye. And at that point, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, what did he say to them? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah. Ista'iddu lil bala. Be prepared for divine tests and tragedies and trials. Wa'alamu anna Allah hafizakum wa hamikum. Know that Allah is your protector and your supporter. See, they're very big words to say in such a state. SubhanAllah. And I ask you, have you ever found words more hopeful and content words than these in such a state? It's the day of Ashura, as we said. All the men have been killed. Ya Abdullah, someone can ask, what should these women and children find themselves content, and what should they comfort themselves with? Then he goes on to say, وَسَيُنْجِيكُم مِّن شَرِّ الْأَعْدَاءِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall give you salvation from all these enemies who surround you today. These enemies who see themselves as victorious and think they have the upper hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall give you all salvation from them. وَيَجْعَلْ عَاقِبَةَ أَمْرَكُمْ خَيْرًا. That your hereafter is nothing but khair, it's nothing but better than this, it's nothing but the best. وَيُعَذِّبُ عَدَاكُمْ بِأَنْوَاءِ الْبَلَاءِ. All these enemies who surround you shall lose in the end, they shall be the losers. So don't be sorrowful, don't be sad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon one of our great ulama, Shaheed Mutahiri. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate his soul. He says something great, that Abu Abdullah Hussain alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, it's as if he could foresee what was about to happen. The event didn't occur yet, but he could already see the result. It's like, for example, you go to a fitness instructor, you go to a physician, and they give you a course, and they already know the outcome of the course, but they put you through the course. Imam Hussain alayhi salam could foresee what was going to take place. And because he was connected to Allah, Kalamullah, this is the Imam we're talking about. The Imam is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he spoke these words rested upon the hearts of those women and children. Two words, two sentences. سَيُنْجِيكُمْ مِنْ شَرِّ الْأَعْدَاءِ وَيُعَذِّبُ أَعْدَاءَكُمْ بِأَنْوَاءِ الْبَلَاءِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall give you salvation from all these enemies, one. And number two, all these enemies shall lose in the end. After this, no matter if the enemies, if they whipped the children, if they slapped the children, if they looted their tents, if they burnt the tents, yes, there was a lot of tragedies and painful stories that they went through, but they never gave up. They never despaired when it came to the mission, carrying out the mission of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. There was a lot of tears and a lot of even shahadat after Ashura. But you didn't hear a single word in history, even from the children, to say that this pathway was wrong or this mission was wrong. Na'udhu billah. Please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So we see hopefulness and being hopeful and having firm belief in such a situation, in difficult situations, dear brothers and sisters, is highly important. For example, as we said again, Akhir al-Zaman, we have belief in the return of the 12th Imam. Our whole ideology is based on hopefulness, being hopeful. So if our younger generation, if we tend to lose hope in life, if our hope becomes weak, then our concept of the return of the Imam will become weak as well. But in opposition, if a person's hopeful, then they'll want to work for the Imam. For example, Bibi Zainab salamullah alayha. When Ibn Ziyad al-Anatullah alayhi asks from her that, what did you see in Ashura? He tries to mock her, and she responds that Ma ra'aytu illa jamila, that I saw nothing but the beauty of Allah. See, after such pain, why? Because she has hope in the promise of Allah. She has firm belief. She's like that mountain of hope. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the companions are like those mountains of hope. And as we said, there's not just a single pain here. There's not just a single painful event. There's a whole collection of these pains falling upon Bibi Zainab salamullah alayhi. There's a whole collection of these pains falling upon the Imam. And so this is really important for us to especially relate to Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the event of Ashura, how to maintain our faith and our hope in this day and age especially. Please send another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Another point I want to add is that, see, one was the event itself, the event in Karbala on the day of Ashura, full of, for example, despair and pain which leads to hopelessness. Another was the build-up to Karbala. On the way, the narration said that more than 70 occasions came where people tried to stop Imam Hussain alayhi salam from carrying out his mission. A lot of good people even, some of the great ulama of that time, some of the great fuqaha of Medina, for example, we know as Marja today. There was seven faqih at the time of Medina, at that time, who people used to refer to for their ahkam and their Islamic rulings. And one of those people was Abu Bakr ibn Abdul Rahman al-Makhzumi, who was one of the fuqaha of Medina at that time. A person who had love for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And when Imam Hussain alayhi salam is about to leave Makkah, he's about to set for Kufa, in front of everyone, this person who's known as a faqih at that time, he stands in front of the Imam and he tries to stop him. And he says, Ya ibn Am, قَدْ رَأَيْتَ مَنْ صَنَعَ أَهْلُ الْإِرَاقِ لِأَبِيكَ وَأَخِيكَ, O son of my uncle. They were related in some sort of way. He says, you've seen what the people of Iraq have done with your brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam and your father Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. You've seen what they've done. فَيُقَاتِلُكَ مَنْ قَدْ وَعَدَكَ يَنْصُرَكَ. That these people, Ya Imam, they won't support you. Yes, they've written letters to you, but they won't support you. They'll kill you. He understands the situation. He understands these people of Kufa. And Abu Abdullah Hussain alayhi salam, being firm on his pathway and being hopeful in the promise of Allah, he says, يَقْزِ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ, that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills shall take place. So see, these, as we said, these are constant types of comments of negativity around the cause of the Imam, constantly releasing that negative energy and hopelessness around the mission of the Imam. And where the women and children and the companions can hear these words, above 70 occasions, as we said, where people tried to stop him and telling him that this pathway is full of danger and the only end result of this pathway is death. Oh Imam, don't go. Oh Imam, there's nothing but danger on this pathway. Another person who tries to stop the Imam is a person by the name of Abu Sa'id Khudri. And this person, it's said that he's memorized around 1,000 hadiths of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. He's not an ordinary person, a lover of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And he's even fought in the battles of Siffin and Nahrawan. And this person, he also stands in front of the Imam. He tries to stop him from going on his journey. He says, Ya ibn Rasulullah, inni lakum nasih wa mushfiq. And O son of the Holy Prophet of Allah, surely I'm someone who loves you, and my heart is burning for you to see you go in this situation. My heart wants good for you, Ya Imam. Man faza bihim, faza bis-sahm al-akhir. That whomsoever takes support from these people, they're at loss. According to his thinking. Although he's wishing well for the Imam, but constantly becoming a sort of a barrier in that mission. Releasing those waves of negativity and hopelessness. And all of these can indirectly become obstacles in the way. But another person by the name of Bishr ibn Qalib, just the last person I'm going to mention, there's a lot of names here. He was coming from the city of Kufa, and the Imam is going towards the city of Kufa. And the Imam asks him where he's coming from. He says, I'm coming from Kufa. And the Imam asks him, كَيْفَ خَلَّفْتَ أَهْلَ الْإِرَاقِ? He says, what are these people of Iraq like? And he says, Oh Imam, let me give you a simple conclusion about these people. And he says, قُلُوبُهُمْ مَعَكَ وَسِيُوفُهُمْ مَعَ بَنِي أُمَيَّةَ. That yes, Ya Imam, their hearts are with you, Ahlul Bayt, but their swords are with Bani Umayyah. Although they love you by heart, but because obviously Bani Umayyah provides them with money and wealth, so their swords are with them. But see, these people, dear brothers and sisters, as we said, they're releasing constant negative energy and waves of hopelessness around the mission of the Imam. But these people, they didn't realize that although they're very practical, they're very religious, and they're very in touch with the religion, but they didn't realize that the Imam is steadfast on his pathway. And it's like a person knows that his pathway is full of mines and full of dangers and full of death. But the Imam knows that that he has to knock down the throne of Yazid. That there's either the pathway of resisting and shahada, or the path of giving in and submitting and accepting Yazid as the illegitimate ruler of Islam. So the Imam chooses to resist. Please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Even, for example, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his wife, Salma, salamu alayha, she tries to stop the Imam before he's about to leave the house. She says, O son of Rasulullah, that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, has told me what's going to take place. I know what's going to happen in Karbala. So she's like the mother of the Imam. And in such situations, it's very difficult. But the Imam is firm in his pathway. He's firm that he knows that the outcome of his journey and his sacrifice shall be the saving of the religion of Allah. But nowadays what tends to happen, dear brothers and sisters, we tend to become hopeless really quick. If we lose out in our exams, for example, we become hopeless. If we're not doing so well in our careers, we become hopeless. If let's say all of our friends and families have become married and we've reached a certain age that we haven't gotten married yet, we become hopeless. You know, there's a lot of dead ends that a person reaches in their life and they can become hopeless. But Imam Hussain alayhi salam is at the peak of tribulations and is like a mountain of hope. So this is Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So hope, dear brothers and sisters, in itself, in belief, it's like that engine which drives a human being. Without that, there's no drive in a human being. It's like that compass which allows a person's movement. And if this, na'uzubillah, God forbid, changes to hopelessness, then opportunities can also become impossibilities. Possibilities can become impossibilities. But if a person remains hopeful, then even impossibilities in life can become possibilities. Now allow me to mention something from the first few ayat of Surah Hud in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 4 different states of a human being. 4 different situations of a human being. Inshallah, I'm going to try and make this as interesting as possible. I hope I'm not boring everyone. Please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
4 different situations. The ayah is very interesting. 4 different situations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states about a human being in their life. One is hopelessness itself, becoming hopeless. Number 2 is being ungrateful. Number 3 is being happy for no reason, excessive happiness. Happiness in itself is not a bad thing, but excessive happiness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us about this. Number 4 is arrogance. And it's highly interesting. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The ayah is here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَئِنْ أَزَقْنَا الْإِنسَانِ مِنَّا رَحْمَةً. That when we give mankind a gift or an opportunity, when we, for example, he doesn't have a child, we grant him with a beautiful baby boy. He doesn't have a house, and we grant him with a house. ثُمَّ نَزَعْنَاهَا مِنْهُ. And when we decide to take it back from him. For example, a person has health and all of a sudden they become really ill. A person is very wealthy and they're pretty well off, and they become broke, for example. A person is living in, a 5-bedroom house, and all of a sudden they're living in a flat. Simple materialistic examples, okay, that's not a bad thing. Gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He provides you and then He decides to take it back. For example, one of your children, God forbid, passes away at an early age. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to take him back from you. When we provide him with something and then we decide to take it back from him as a test, then the ayah goes on to say, إِنَّهُ لَيَئُوسٌ كَفُورٌ, that his heart, he starts to complain and he starts to nag, and he becomes hopeless. He blames his creator, he blames Allah. See, Ya'us, it means hopelessness, and kafur means ungratefulness. So when we provide him with something and take it back, he becomes hopeless and he becomes ungrateful. He starts to blame Allah. Now, in opposition to this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, in opposition to this whole situation now, وَلَئِنْ أَزَقْنَاهُ النَّعْمَاءَ بَعْدَ ذَرَّةٍ, that when this insan is empty-handed, when he has nothing, he's jobless, we give him a career. He's living under rent and we give him a house. He's very broke and he becomes wealthy, the opposite situation. He wasn't married and we provide him with the best of partners, the best husband or the best wife. The Quran says about this person, لَيَقُولَنَّ ذَهْنَا سَيِّعَاتُ عَنِّي, that this person says, now my difficulty is over. All my difficulties are over. And then the ayah goes on to say about him, إِنَّهُ لَفَرِحٌ لَفَخُورٌ, that he becomes excessively happy. Thank you. Please stand aloud. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
This person who, when he's empty-handed and we give him something, he becomes excessively happy and he becomes arrogant. As we said, being happy in itself is not a bad thing, but becoming so happy when you lose yourself in your happiness. I'll give you an example. A lot of people take selfies and pictures of their food, for example, nowadays. We lose ourselves in our happiness. I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just giving a basic example. We lose ourselves in our happiness. We become so happy that, for example, we've got a promotion, we've got a high job status now, we're a big person now, and we forget Allah. Then this converts to arrogance. We say that, no, my status isn't from Allah, it's from myself. I am na'uzubillah, God forbid, my own God. So the Quran is teaching us that these two situations, whether a gift from Allah is provided to a person or taken back from him, it shouldn't allow a person to adapt to these four situations. Ya'us, hopelessness; kafur, ungratefulness; farih, excessive happiness; and fakhur, arrogance. Please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
For the safety of Imam Azama, please send aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Dear brothers and sisters, if a person becomes like this, where Allah's granted them something or taken something back from them, if we become hopeless or become arrogant, then it's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's at loss, rather it's us who are at loss ourselves. Why? Because as we said, life is full of ups and downs. You'll reach dead-ended lives. You'll reach days of success. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says that one day is in your favor and the other day is against you. This is the system of this dunya. It's created as a test. But a person who doesn't become like this, a person who remains hopeful in Allah according to his limit and thanks Allah and doesn't become hopeless in difficult situations, someone who attaches himself to the ark of salvation himself, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, they'll be the successful ones. Please send another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Now we have a narration, dear brothers and sisters, it's the night of Tawbah, as we said, the night of Thursday. A night of Tawbah means to return to Allah. And also the night of the ziyarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And now we have a narration I'm going to mention, but I'm going to mention it with the exception that we don't become, arrogant or lose ourselves in our hope as well. Because see, there's two types of hopes in themselves. One is a positive hope, a truthful hope, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides. Number two is a false hope, known as umniya, la umniyannahum. This is what the shaitan gives to you. For example, you're lost in the middle of Sahara Desert where there's no water, and someone tells you, yeah, there's a stream ahead. You go forward.